The cottage door swung open before she could knock. Maya froze. There he stood. The man she once loved so fiercely she'd memorized the way sunlight caught in his hair. The same man who'd walked out without a goodbye 10 years ago. Elias Carter. Time had carved sharper edges into him, broader shoulders, deeper voice, that same quiet intensity she used to sink into. He blinked, stunned. "Maya?" he breathed. This can't be real." Her suitcase wobbled in her hand. "You're the roommate?" He rubbed the back of his neck, the way he always did when uncomfortable. "I own the place now. I rent the second room. I didn't know it was you." Awkward, electric, too much air, and not enough oxygen. She considered turning around, driving away, but she needed this place, this summer job, this restart. "Fine," she said stiffly. "We stay out of each other's way." He nodded. "Fine." But the cottage was small, and their history was huge. Too close in a small kitchen. The first clash happened 3 days later. Maya stepped into the tiny kitchen at dawn, craving coffee. Elias was already there, shirtless, leaning against the counter, steam swirling around him. His hair was damp from a morning swim. She nearly walked right back out. He glanced over. "Didn't think you were up this early." "I live here," she shot back. He moved aside, but the counters were so narrow that she brushed past him. His breath hitched, just barely. Maybe she imagined it. "Look," he said quietly, "I don't want this to be uncomfortable." "It already is." A long silence. Then, "You still take your coffee with cinnamon?" he asked. Her chest tightened. He remembered. She swallowed. "Sometimes." He handed her the mug anyway. Their fingers didn't touch, but the air between them sparked like they had. That night Maya couldn't sleep. The ocean called through her window. She walked the shoreline barefoot, letting the surf bury her ankles. Then a voice behind her. "You still do this when you're overwhelmed?" She turned. Elias stood a few feet away, hands in his pockets, moonlight catching the angle of his jaw. "Following me now?" she challenged. "Just needed air," he said. Then softer, "I didn't expect you back in my life." "Neither did I." The waves crashed, the pause stretched. "You look happy." But his voice carried something else. Something unfinished. "I'm trying to be." He stepped closer. Too close. "Maya," his eyes searched hers, "you should know I never wanted to leave back then." She laughed once, sharp. "But you did." He flinched. "Good night, Elias." She walked away before he could answer. He didn't follow, but she felt his eyes on her until she disappeared inside. A tropical storm rolled in the next afternoon, walls shaking, power flickering, rain battering the roof like it wanted inside. Maya sat on the couch, arms wrapped around her knees. She hated storms. A warm weight settled next to her. Elias. "You still get anxious during these," he murmured. "Stop remembering me," she snapped. He didn't move. "I never stopped." He grabbed a blanket from the back of the couch and draped it around her shoulders, slow, gentle, careful, as if he wasn't sure he was allowed to touch her anymore. Lightning cracked. She jumped. Without thinking, she leaned into him. Without hesitation, he held her. They sat like that, breathing the same air, sharing warmth, sharing a moment neither of them should have let happen. The storm outside felt easier than the storm inside. When she finally pulled back, her pulse was racing. "This wasn't part of the agreement," she whispered. "No," he said, voice low, "but neither was seeing you again and feeling everything I tried to bury." Later that night, after the storm eased, Maya lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Her heartbeat was still a mess, her thoughts worse. A soft knock. She didn't answer. Another knock. "Maya, can we talk?" She opened the door an inch. Elias stood there, rain caught in his hair. "That night I left," he said, voice steady but thick. "I was scared. I got offered a job across the world and convinced myself you deserved someone more certain than I was. You didn't even say goodbye."
I know. It was the worst mistake I've ever made. Her throat tightened. Old wounds rose, but so did something else. Something warm, dangerous, confusing. "I don't know what you expect from me," she said. "Just the truth," he whispered. He stepped closer, not touching her, but just near enough for her breath to tremble. "Do you feel nothing, Maya?" His voice cracked. "Because I feel everything." She should have shut the door. She didn't. The night after the storm, the beach was glowing with that soft, hazy light that only happens after rainfall. Clouds still hanging low, the sand cool beneath the bare feet of anyone brave enough to walk it at midnight. Maya wasn't planning to go outside. She'd meant to read a book, maybe sip tea, pretend she wasn't replaying every single moment between her and Elias lately. But the cottage felt too warm, too full, too charged, so she stepped out. The ocean breathed slow against the shore. The air tasted like salt and new beginnings. She walked a few yards before she realized someone else was already standing at the edge of the surf. Elias. Shirt hanging loose, hair wind-tossed, hands tucked into his pockets, the kind of image that once would have knocked the breath out of her. Tonight, it did. He turned when he sensed her, like he'd been waiting for her all along. "You okay?" he asked, voice softer than the waves. "Couldn't sleep," she said. "You?" He huffed a quiet laugh. "Same reason." They stood there, side by side, not touching, but close enough for heat to thread between them. The moon washed everything silver, their faces, the water, the unspoken tension shimmering between them. "I keep thinking about how we used to talk like this, at night when everybody else was asleep." His voice lowered, deep and honest. "I think about those nights all the time." A breeze pressed her hair against her cheek. Elias reached out, brushing it back with gentle fingers. His touch was soft, almost hesitant. "You don't have to be careful with me," she said. His hand paused. "Maya, you don't know how long I've wanted to hear that again." He stepped closer, not crowding her, not demanding, just offering. "Maya," he said softly, "I didn't come out here just to stare at the waves." Her heartbeat kicked up, fast, hot, undeniable. "What did you come out here for?" she asked. "You," he breathed. The word landed in her chest like a spark catching dry tinder. She swallowed hard. "Elias." "Tell me to stop," he said gently. "And I will, but if you don't," she didn't let him finish. She stepped into him, pressing her hands to his chest. She could feel his heartbeat, fast, strong, completely out of rhythm. He cupped her face with both hands, thumbs brushing her cheeks with slow reverence. "Say something," he whispered. "Anything." Her voice came out a breathy confession. "I don't want you to stop." It was all he needed. He kissed her slow at first, like rediscovering a language they both used to speak fluently, then deeper, hotter, pulling her closer until she felt the heat of him everywhere. Her fingers curled in the fabric of his shirt. His hand slid to her waist, anchoring her to him like he'd been waiting a decade to hold her again. If you like this story, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. Also comment and let us know where you're watching us from. Thanks for watching. The waves hit the shore harder, almost in rhythm with the pulse roaring in her ears. They finally broke apart, breathing fast. Elias exhaled shakily. "Maya, we can't pretend after this. We can't go back to being just housemates.